Greetings people of the world.
تحيات أهل العالم.
Shalom أنشي عולם.
Zdravíme lidi světa. Pozdrověně ludzie
Salutations
světa.
peuple du monde. Saluti gente del
Dunia ke
mondo.
logo ko namaskar.
We are anonymous.
Hello, we are anonymous. We are a decentralized, international, leaderless collective. We are known for our cyber attacks, civil disobedience, for publishing secrets. We expose corruption, tyranny, hypocrisy and dictatorial governments. We are invisible. The GIFO, or Guy Fawkes mask has become our moniker, a symbol of our unity. And while some places, some governments, have made laws against us, it really doesn't matter. We disobey. We are hackers. We hack. We make no apologies for this. It's what we do. It's what we do well. This is Operation 2 Good Reasons. This is a call to action, because two little girls cried out for help over the internet and Anonymous is answering that call. Two teens and their super dad are fighting for their lives in Saint-Pierre, France. Sexually abused by the boyfriend of their biological mother while she stood and watched. They reached out for help. The police ignored them. Children's Aid didn't believe them. The courts branded them criminals. They had no choice. They fled for their safety, and their own government, Canada, hunted them like terrorists. And when they turned to another country for help, France, they were separated, interrogated and tortured, all at the request of the Canadian government. Now they are trying to extradite them back to Canada, to imprison them, to punish them, to show them who is boss. Anonymous has verified their claims, but you can judge for yourself. The documents are publicly available at www.runningaway.ca. Anonymous has visited a dozen or so systems and databases to date. They really need to upgrade their security. We have heard from many good people and produced 3 videos, described as both shocking and thought-provoking. We have reached out to Alex, Paige and Super Dad Clayton. We believe them. We stand with them. Our fists raised in anger, ready to act more. In the first segment, we explored their intolerable circumstances and exposed their abusers, Jason Kenneth Whitington and Kelly Nina Campbell, the biological mother and her pedophile husband. In the second segment, we exposed the tyrannical scum-infested, criminal organization, the Niagara Regional Police and their chief, Brian McCulloch. And in the third segment, we exposed the disgraceful Anna Bosman to her monopoly over children, her criminal enterprise, Family Children's Services Niagara and the Children's Aid Corporations of Ontario. Now we are preparing for the next offensive, the next battle, the next victory. We are turning our attention to bigger game. Those with big mouths and little brains, little hearts and no soul. We are targeting the institutions, officials and individuals responsible for the atrocities inflicted on this family. Those responsible for doing the same to many other children, families, communities. Those that would do the same to you or maybe already have. They were warned. They didn't listen. They should have done something while they still had the chance. Their corrupt and tyrannical attack against Alex, Paige and their super dad Clayton continues. They hide behind their corrupt institutions, their politicians, their control over the media, using the police as their shield, regulators as their bagmen. Anonymous will not tolerate hypocrisy, tyranny, corruption or doublespeak. We will not tolerate governments that target children. We will not tolerate cowards in public office that hide in their ivory towers, pretending to be ignorant, while others suffer. And we will most certainly not tolerate secret deals and collusion between Canada and France. It is high time these problems are solved for good, and by solved, we mean brought down, erased, eliminated, deleted, nullified, shut down. Its masters and architects held to account. Soon there will be more of us, and more, and more, so let's begin. Anonymous wants you. You do not need to be a hacker, or even have a computer to join Anonymous, because Anonymous is an idea, a bulletproof idea, a collective, a concept. Our mighty legion is not solely comprised of a bunch of nerds in their parents' basement, although we do have them too. We have spies, informants, infiltrators, surveillance, operatives. They feed us information, intelligence, documents, media. They add context, depth, and they are just as important to our operation as anyone else. And as you may have already guessed, they remain anonymous. Some of the information used to expose the ratbag Niagara police in Segment 2, and the monopoly on children held by Anna Bother in Segment 3, came from people who work there. Police officers, child protection workers, court officials, those who want change, those opposed to tyranny and corruption. And they are anonymous too. Would you like to join us? Become anonymous? All you have to do is think about it for a moment. Would you like to help these poor fucking kids? Families like theirs? Do you have access to, or knowledge of, any of our targets? Then get angry. Angry at those corrupt bastards. Those morally bankrupt corporations. Institutions. Think about people you know. Good people. Who have been faced with the same. Because if you were truly happy with the system, genuinely satisfied with your government, you would not be watching this video. Get really angry. Now not once. And you are anonymous. Welcome. We stand proudly with you. Our fists raised in anger. Send us everything you know. Get more. Documents, photographs, audio and video footage. Recount incidents. Tell us your story. Be as detailed as you can be. Always include names, especially the guilty. Be part of the solution. Be part of the revolution. Stand with your fists raised in anger, because as Paige and Alexandra said, enough is enough. Our email addresses are being displayed on the screen right now. Reach out to all of them, just in case. Use Tor, a VPN or a Proton mail address. Stay hidden. Remain invisible. Be anonymous. This is a call to action. Anonymous Operation 2 Good Reasons is calling on Adons of the world. Fishers, virologists, deniers of service, spoofers, social engineers, doxers, coders, crackers, scriptionists, everyone, everywhere. We suggest you, ahem, visit their websites, their databases, telecommunications devices, smart circuits, their infrastructure, their utilities, their documents and reports, their media. Feed it to us. Tell us who to credit. Do it for Alex and Paige. To get to the truth. To punish the tyrants. The sycophants. For revenge. Or just do it for lulz. To flex. Because some anons are victims too. And because we all cry in the same fucking language. The revolution will not be televised. Anonymous has identified many targets. There are more, and more will be added to the list. These two girls had to flee Canada to stand a chance of getting justice in Canada. That is just so fucked up. Ground forces prepare, because soon we will gather in the streets, government buildings, police stations, political offices, embassies. Grab a mask, make a sign, put your packs together, but plan to leave your identification at home. Keep posted for dates and coordinates. There is so much more to come. Because when you give a man a mask, he will show his true face. And to those who have our attention, and to those who think this is all some kind of a joke, those who think they are immune, safe, protected, exempt, you would do right to remember that the global collective that is anonymous has hacked, cracked, freaked, exposed, broken, brought down, destroyed, doxed and leaked thousands and thousands of systems worldwide. Authorities, politicians, power structures, you are nothing. None of you stands a chance. One by one, we will rise up against you. Every one of you who individually and systematically tried to break Alex, Paige and their super dad. Who thinks it's acceptable to do this to others, families, communities, that it's just business as usual, whatever role you played, no matter how small and insignificant, and if you think we exposed a lot in prior segments, you just wait to see what we are going to do next. You had a moral obligation to stop the madness and you elected not to do so, a decision you will soon regret. We are invisible. You can't see us. We leave no fingerprints. You can't identify us. We leave no footprints. You can't track us. We are legion. There are more and more of us every hour, minute, second. You were warned. You had a chance. You hid behind your ivory towers. Your false idols. You did nothing to correct your mistakes, to confess, to make right, to apologize. Well, Anonymous is pissed off. Now you are fucked. Totally, completely, entirely fucked. This is a call to action. They will all say they were just following orders, just doing what they were told, just doing their job, that it was nothing personal. Well, Anonymous knows of another time in history where a group of government agents did the same, and it didn't turn out well at all.
Ihr dürft nicht handeln, ihr müsst gehorchen, ihr müsst euch fügen, ihr müsst euch diesen unerhörten Zwang beugen.
These are the targets. There will be more. There are always more. Some have been exposed in prior segments. All have been warned. All chose not to do the right thing. A decision they will soon regret, because Anonymous is preparing for war. They are all fair game. Jason Kenneth Whittington and Kelly Nina Campbell, guilty in the most sinister, vicious, filthy of crimes, dangerous, repeat sexual offenders, psychopaths. They must be stopped. It happened to Alex and Paige. It will happen to their little boy Miles. If it hasn't already, it continues. It will continue to continue. The Ontario Provincial Police didn't believe Alex and Paige. They refused to investigate, to protect them. They were negligent, lazy, they lacked sympathy. They refused to disclose evidence. They refused to obey orders. They were dishonest. Their own reports show all of this. Family and Children Services Niagara, the corporation known as FACS, refused to investigate, afforded no protection, took no action. They ignored them. They tried to investigate the super dad instead, and by the time they realized their mistake it was too late. They refused to disclose evidence. They hid in their ivory towers, and when the family took action in the courts, their own reports exposed their lies and their assault on the truth. The Niagara Regional Police Service refused to take statements to investigate. They gave no protection, took no action. They were too busy, tired, focused on other things, like all of their lawsuits, their sexual affairs, their guns, drugs, corruption. They lied to the media and got caught, busted, embarrassed. They wrote secret letters full of lies and got caught again. And they continued to try to force Alex, Paige and Super Dad back to Canada, to imprison them, to show them who is boss, corrupt, negligent, a ratbag criminal organization. The Children's Aid Society of Haldimand, Norfolk, also known as the Child and Family Services of Grand Erie, also known as Haldimand Norfolk Children's Services, also known as Brant Family and Children's Services, also known as Haldimand and Norfolk Social Services, also known as who knows how many more names. Because when you sell a defective product that is hazardous to children, why make it safe when you can just change the packaging instead? They knew about Whittington. They did nothing to stop him. They left him unsupervised, and look what he did. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police and Royal Newfoundland Constabulary both distributed photos of the family, made news alerts, radio, television. They listed them on Interpol, like terrorists, bombing suspects, international organized crime bosses. But at no point did they stop and think. They never asked why. They didn't bother. The crime, embarrassing the police by getting away. These corrupt and disgusting organizations have such a shameful and terrible past. It will take hours and hours to even partially expose them. Because according to them, in Canada, little girls shut their mouth, spread their legs and take it. Because that is just what little girls do in Canada. Justin Trudeau, Doug Ford and others knew about this. The family asked them for help. They did nothing to stop the madness. Well, Anonymous knows all about Ford, his girlfriend, the activities of his children, and we know all about Trudeau's deal with China. With your help, Anonymous is going to rip through their secrets and expose them for every lie, scandal, secret and scam they have perpetrated on their citizens. David Lametti and his Department of Justice ordered their dirty French servants to separate, interrogate and torture Alex, Page and the super dad Clayton. They are directly responsible for obscenely prosecuting them. Their tyranny, hypocrisy and absolute disregard for the safety of children has attracted our undivided attention. And since the judges of the so-called Superior Court of Justice in Ontario are employees of this disgusting branch of government, we hold them all to account for their exclusion and betrayal of the family, for their perversion and corruption of justice and for their onslaught against their own citizens. Doug Downey is responsible for the negligence of the Office of the Children's Lawyer, the secrecy and deceit of the Central Authority, and the lack of disclosure from the Crown Attorney of Niagara. These minions work behind the scenes to entirely disregard the most basic legal rights of their own citizens. They refuse to disclose documents and other evidence. They lied to the French. They have caused untold suffering. Melanie Joly and her Department of Foreign Affairs initiated diplomatic correspondence with the dirty and cowardly French. They passed lies and half-truths masquerading as evidence back and forth, gave the disgusting French their marching orders. Well, your secret messages were intercepted. A government who does nothing for the safety of children cannot beg for safety from us. Your request is denied. You remain the target in our score on our list and soon you will become a casualty of war. The Ontario Ministry of Community and Social Services neglected to properly inspect and regulate FACS and the Children's Aid Corporations. They trade the souls, innocence and security of children for money. They enable and empower the monopolies on children. They delegate authority to criminals, rapists, child molesters, pedophiles. They are ultimately responsible for allowing the most heinous of crimes against children, mothers, fathers, families, communities, the innocent, those unable to defend.
Anonymous portera bientôt son attention sur les Français sales et lâches, le gouvernement indigné de la République française, l'arrogante préfecture de Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon, le procureur et les juges corrompus et tyranniques, l'administration, les contrôleurs, les bureaucrates, le bureau de contrôle des enfants malhonnêtes et cruels, la gendarmerie dégoûtante et brutale, tous ceux qui ont interféré avec la demande d'asile de la famille, qui les a traînés devant les tribunaux plus de 30 fois, qui les a séparés et interrogés, qui les a dépouillés de leurs droits, qui les a torturés, qui leur a causé un traumatisme, qui les menaçait quotidiennement, qui a revictimisé les victimes, tout obéissant aux ordres canadiens comme de petites fourmis stupides au service de leur haine. Pas une pensée indépendante parmi eux. Eh bien, ils sont tous équitables maintenant.
And this is just the beginning. Anonymous Operation 2 Good Reasons is preparing for war. We will continue until justice is done. Until Alex, Page and their super dad are free. Together. Safe. Until Canada, France and all the others get the picture. The message. Until they change. Because there is nothing more important than the safety and security of our children. A lesson they will learn the hard way. Join us. Become anonymous. This is Operation 2 Good Reasons. The time for warnings has long ago expired. We are anonymous. We are legion. United as one. Divided by zero. We do not forgive. We do not forget. You should have expected us. Because Anonymous is expecting you.